What if I told you there's a mosque standing in the heart of Pyongyang, North Korea's most secretive city, a place where Islam quietly survives under the watchful eye of a regime that bans religion? How did this happen? And what does it mean for the few Muslims living in the world's most isolated country, North Korea, a land of strict control where the state dictates every aspect of life? Religion, officially it's allowed, in reality it's suppressed. Churches exist, but they're showpieces for foreign visitors. Buddhism, only as a cultural relic. But Islam, that's where the story takes an unexpected turn. Hidden inside the Iranian embassy, a small blue-domed mosque stands as the only Islamic place of worship in the entire country. This is Masjid ar-Rahman, North Korea's best-kept religious secret. How did Islam even get here? Who are the Muslims worshipping in the shadows? And why did Kim Jong Un, a leader known for crushing dissent, allow this mosque to exist? Islam didn't arrive in North Korea with grand conquests or mass migrations. It slipped in quietly, through diplomats and trade. Centuries ago, Persian and Arab merchants reached Korea, leaving traces of Islamic influence in the south. But the north? That story begins much later. After World War II, Korea split in two. The north became an atheist state, erasing religion from public life. Yet, in the 1970s and 80s, something changed. North Korea needed allies, especially oil-rich Muslim nations. Iran, Egypt, and Pakistan became key partners. With them came Muslim diplomats, and with them came Islam. But practicing faith in North Korea was dangerous. The government saw religion as a threat, a rival ideology to the worship of the Kim dynasty. Muslims had to hide, praying in secret, whispering verses of the Quran behind closed doors. Then, in 1985, something unbelievable happened. Iran, North Korea's ally, built a mosque inside its Pyongyang embassy. Not just any mosque, Masjid ar-Rahman, the first and only in the country. At first it was only for Iranian diplomats. But over time it became a sanctuary for all Muslims in North Korea. Diplomats from Pakistan, Egypt, Indonesia, even a handful of local converts. The mosque has no minaret, no call to prayer echoes through Pyongyang's streets. But inside, Muslims gather in secret, praying under the watchful eyes of state security. Life as a Muslim in North Korea is a tightrope walk. No proselytizing. Sharing Islamic teachings with locals is forbidden. No public worship. Prayers must stay inside embassy grounds. No religious materials. Bringing in Qurans is risky. Yet against all odds, the community survives. During Ramadan, Muslims fast in silence. On Eid, they gather for modest celebrations. Ketupat and opor served in the mosque's small hall. But the question lingers. Why does Kim Jong Un allow this? Some say it's pure diplomacy. North Korea needs allies, and Muslim nations provide economic and political support. Allowing a mosque keeps Iran and others happy. Others believe it's propaganda, a way to tell the world, see, we allow religious freedom, while suppressing faith behind the scenes. But for the Muslims living there, it doesn't matter. The mosque is their lifeline, a fragile sanctuary in a country that could crush it at any moment. Some say it's pure diplomacy. North Korea, isolated and sanctioned, desperately needs allies, especially those with economic leverage like Iran, Pakistan, and Gulf states. By permitting the Ar-Rahman Mosque, Pyongyang maintains crucial relationships with Muslim-majority nations that provide oil, trade, and political cover at the UN. The mosque acts as a diplomatic bargaining chip, a symbolic gesture to secure aid while the regime continues its brutal suppression of religion domestically. Others believe it's propaganda, a carefully staged performance for international audiences. When foreign journalists or human rights groups question North Korea's religious persecution, officials can point to the mosque as proof of tolerance. Meanwhile, the reality for ordinary North Koreans remains unchanged. Any unauthorized worship, especially by locals, risks imprisonment or worse. The mosque exists not as a sanctuary, but as a Potemkin village of religious freedom, designed to muddy the waters and deflect criticism. Yet, for the small Muslim community in Pyongyang, mostly diplomats, expats, and a handful of secret believers, the mosque is neither just diplomacy nor propaganda. It is their only connection to faith in a country where God is outlawed. They know the risks. Every prayer could be monitored, every Ramadan iftar could be reported to state security. But still, they come. For them, the mosque is defiance. It is identity. It is the quiet, stubborn refusal to let their faith be erased, even if they must practice it in whispers, behind embassy walls, under the ever-watchful gaze of a regime that could revoke this fragile privilege at any moment. And perhaps that's the real power of this place. In a nation where the state demands absolute loyalty, where even thoughts are policed, the mere existence of this mosque, no matter how controlled, how restricted, proves an unshakable truth. Faith cannot be fully extinguished. Not by walls, not by fear, not even by the most totalitarian regime on earth. The prayers continue, the fasts endure, and in the shadows of Pyongyang, against all odds, Islam survives. North Korea's treatment of Muslims is just one piece of a larger puzzle in the regime's carefully calculated approach to religion. While the Ar-Rahman Mosque stands as a visible symbol of Islamic presence, this apparent tolerance exists within a much darker reality. The truth is that religious freedom in North Korea remains one of the most systematically violated human rights in the world today. The regime's brutal suppression of religion follows a clear hierarchy of persecution. Christians face the harshest treatment, with thousands reportedly imprisoned in political labor camps for simply owning a Bible or holding secret prayer meetings. Entire Christian families have disappeared into the Gulag system, where believers are subjected to torture, forced labor, and even execution for their faith. The few state-sanctioned churches in Pyongyang exist solely for propaganda purposes, empty shells where carefully vetted churchgoers perform for foreign cameras. Buddhists fare slightly better, but only because the government has co-opted their tradition as a cultural relic rather than a living faith. Ancient temples have been preserved as historical sites, but active Buddhist practice is heavily monitored and restricted. Monks are essentially state employees, their religious activities tightly controlled by the party. Against this backdrop, the mosque's continued operation seems puzzling, until you examine North Korea's geopolitical calculus. The regime maintains this single exception, not out of respect for Islam, but because Muslim-majority nations represent critical economic and political lifelines. Iran provides missile technology. Pakistan has been a source of nuclear expertise. Gulf states offer potential back-channels for circumventing sanctions. Even this limited religious tolerance follows the regime's cold logic of survival. It's not freedom, but another form of control. The tragic irony is that while foreign Muslims can pray at Ar-Rahman, any North Korean citizen showing interest in Islam would face immediate persecution. The mosque's existence ultimately highlights the regime's hypocrisy, showcasing religious freedom to the world while maintaining one of the most comprehensive systems of religious oppression on earth. It's a stark reminder that in North Korea, even apparent concessions serve the regime's interests, never those of its people. Kim Jong Un is a master of manipulation. He plays the long game, using small concessions to buy loyalty abroad while tightening control at home. The mosque isn't a sign of change, it's a distraction. And yet for the few Muslims who pray there, it's everything. A whisper of faith in a land of silence. So, does North Korea really tolerate Islam? Or is this just another carefully crafted illusion? One thing's for sure, faith finds a way, even in the darkest corners of the world. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.